So, hemp and medicinal cannabis, we were really looking forward to running this event, and I can't tell you how disappointed we are that we're having to do a teaser version of the event. For those of you that are asking when the rescheduled event will be, we know that if we're allowed to run events later this year, there's going to be a lot of constraints around that, and government perhaps may not be as receptive as we would like for this conversation. So it probably won't be in 2020, but I promise you it will be in 2021. But for now, what we want to do is just give you a little bit of a teaser. And we've been increasingly excited about hemp and cannabis, and we're particularly pleased to be working with our members, Hanway Associates, who've been members of ours for a long time now. And we've become very convinced of the agronomic, the economic, and the environmental opportunities and potential that this crop offers. And what we'd like to do this afternoon is to just start to explore some of that in a little bit of detail as a teaser and in anticipation of when we're able to run the first event.
Linda said, I'm the CEO of Hanway Associates. We're a strategic consultancy which provides advice to companies operating in or with ambitions of operating in legal cannabis markets. So that runs the gamut of everything from industrial hemp through to pharmaceutical products. And we help advise companies operate in this challenging environment in terms of regulations and opportunities, but a wonderfully diverse plant with a huge range of different opportunities. So hemp is a general term for low THC varieties of the plant, normally grown outdoor, broadacre. It has some fantastic potential in terms of improving the soil quality, and has some of the most diverse uses of any crop available. But some of the more interesting innovations now are in the bioplastics and biofuels space. There's a real opportunity now with the US having legalized hemp at the federal level for this to become a real industry which challenges papers and plastics in a range of different applications. The next vertical is medical. Now, this is one that's been in the news a lot in the UK again, as we've seen changes in our laws to help allow patients access medical cannabis products. The difficulty with medical cannabis flower is growing a flower which has such diverse compounds in it in a repeatable, stable way, where you're hitting tight pharmaceutical specifications of the flower time after time. And that puts controlled environment agriculture at the heart of the industry. It means that for the future, we see there's still being a very large role for indoor controlled environment agriculture for cannabis flowers. And the industry is also maturing now. Previously, because this is such a new industry, most companies had to do everything themselves, from their breeding program through to distribution and retail. And now we're seeing the industry stratify a lot more, so that there is a role for sophisticated farmers to perform a contract cultivation role in the industry. And the most well-known of that is in the pharmaceutical sector. So pharmaceuticals we distinguish from medical cannabis because these are products which have gone through full approval to be sold as a medicine, either through the FDA or the EMA. So the leader in this sector is GW Pharmaceuticals, which is a British company, and its contract manufacturers are British companies as well. So a lot of you will be aware of the very large cultivation site which British Sugar operate, which is a glass house which was converted from tomatoes to growing cannabis. And so the UK is actually the world leader in production of cannabis for extraction and formulation into pharmaceutical products.
Now I'm going to be Captain Buzzkill and present the challenges to show that the green rush is not as easy as some people might imagine to make huge amounts of money through. I'm the Chief Scientific Officer of Hanway Associates. prior to working in the cannabis industry and co-founding Hanway with George and my other co-founder, Alistair, my previous life was as a research chemist, where I did a PhD in pharmaceutical chemistry and then transitioned into the industry. At Hanway, I focus in particular on our clients that have more of a research and R&D focus, and also on licensing support. So starting off with the industrial hemp sector, the challenges that exist in the UK for this, one of the key challenges is that there is still a lack of manufacturing know-how and the kind of developed supply chain. It's still a niche crop in the UK, and consequently there are very few places that will actually process the fibre or the seed for producing hemp seed oil. There are lots of very innovative hemp products being produced that do compete with traditional products. There is still a price differential at the moment, and there are plenty of very cheap paper-based and plastic products and building products that hemp alternatives still have to compete with currently. The biggest challenge that UK farmers face growing hemp at the moment is that current UK hemp licensing policy prevents the connection of hemp cultivation with wellness manufacturers. And what I mean by this is that current hemp licensing policy prevents people from cultivating low THC hemp plants and extracting the cannabinoids from them, and in particular CBD, which would then be used to make CBD wellness products. Now that's the most lucrative use of a hemp plant, and current licensing policy prohibits that possibility for UK farmers currently. From the market point of view as well, although there was a lot of excitement in 2018 when medical cannabis was legalized, the UK demand for medical cannabis is still currently small, although that is growing. And looking at other countries and how their demand has grown, UK is predicted to be a substantial market in 2 to 3 years, but it's certainly not there yet. From a practical perspective as well, the plant genetics of cannabis are very messy. That's due to obviously its history of being grown illegally for many years, and it means that unlike many other crops where stable genetics are easy to get hold of, that is not the case for companies looking to grow in this space, and it means they often have to produce their own genetics. There is, however, a kind of key R&D opportunity in particular for agri-tech companies looking at this plant, and that is that there is still a huge amount that we don't know about cannabis and how to produce the most efficacious medicines from the plant. That's everything. There are gaps in our current knowledge right the way through from cultivation, optimization of products and formulation, right the way through to the clinical possibilities that the plant offers. At least a brief run through of the many challenges. I'm sure there's plenty more that I haven't gone through yet, but that gives you an idea about the challenges in this space.
Maybe if Henry, I could come to you first with just to offer some reflections based on the questions that we've heard and some kind of key take-home messages that you'd like the audience to go away with.
With every challenge, there's kind of an opportunity alongside it, and that's what makes this sector so exciting, certainly for me. And the opportunities aren't just simply in terms of market size, but there's some really interesting scientific and technological challenges that this crop presents itself, and that's, I think, where we'll see a lot of value potentially being created, and that's the stuff that really excites me. Plugging in the UK agri-tech sector to this new crop and seeing where they will take it.
Great. Well, I think judging by the frequency and the energy in the questions, there's certainly a lot of appetite within the UK agri-tech space to engage. George, what would your take-home thoughts be?
I think there's a lot of excitement around the crop with good reason. Obviously, pharmaceutical cannabis is the highest margin crop that you can grow, but the barriers to entry are enormous, and the complexity, I don't want people to be scared off by it, but we're here to help guide through that. But you really do need a whole day if we're going to start getting into the detail of, you know, licensing regimes for the different type varieties of the plant and supply chain issues. And so my takeaway would be, I look forward to seeing you all in person and we can get into the detail, because there's a lot of, but there is a huge prize in all those different verticals that we looked at. There's a lot of opportunity.
Absolutely. And did you just want to do a 1-minute quick scamper around Crop 17?
Yes, thank you for mentioning. So Crop 17 is a partnership we have with Cambridge HOK and Savills. We are there to offer an end-to-end service in an advisory capacity for those looking to get into this market. We can help you with everything from sourcing, genetics, distributors, the whole supply chain issues, through to planning, licensing, acquiring land. Everything that you could imagine needs to be done, which is a lot if you're looking to get a medical cannabis license. We're here to help with our partners at Cambridge HOK and Savills. So check us out at crop17.com and get in touch, and we'd be happy to answer any of your questions.